Hello everyone, it's Kristen here at Joy Food Thriving and time for a chat. I asked you all and it's time to do another round of questions and just catch up on what's going on. I have my protein hot chocolate that I've been drinking. This is vanilla actually this time and I do really like it, the vanilla milkshake. The chocolate's still my go-to. Links in the description for that and anything else I mention. It's just been a great way to drink something warm in the mornings because I'm not a coffee person. So this has been a great healthy start to my morning. I get 15 grams of protein if I do one scoop, 30 if I do two, which I will mix it in with 16 ounces of water if I do that, just to, it's really thick if you don't. So I do one scoop for 8 ounces of water, but that's what I'm drinking. So grab something, your favorite beverage, and let's sit down and just chat a little bit, shall we? I just finished a book, so we're going to start with books, and then I'll get to questions and answers. But one of the books I finished this month was by Francine Rivers, and I love her. I have not read everything she's written, but Redeeming Love by her is one of my all-time favorites. She is a Christian fiction author. And this one came out, I guess, last year, but I had never seen it. It's called The Lady's Mine by Francine Rivers. And it's just your nice historical fiction, Christian fiction with some romance in there. It's set kind of in California that time, or out west, in that whole time scene when they were settling the West. And it's just really interesting. This was a great read, read in a couple days. I also did pick for book club my pick was The Women by, what's her name? Oh my goodness, Kristen Hanna. I think I've read almost everything she's ever written. She is not a Christian author, but writes historical fiction, typically based on women's roles and relationships. And so she tackles a lot of interesting things. And The Women is about the Vietnam War. A nurse, she goes off to be a nurse in the Vietnam War, and kind of the PTSD she struggles with as she comes home. And I have to admit, I was born in 82. Yes, that dates me to a lot of you. But I did not know a whole lot about the Vietnam War, and I did not really understand the controversy that it caused. And it made me really sad to see how our country kind of treated the soldiers who were there, who were drafted, and the nurses especially. And so she encompasses a lot of different things. It is a heavier read. It was some great discussion for book club, and I did really enjoy that. So I would recommend that one as well. My all-time favorite by Kristen Hanna, though, is The Winter Garden. And that's set in World War II, kind of Leningrad's and the how they were they were starving during the war, and just a different perspective on those. But I have read a lot by her, and I really do enjoy her as well. So if you like historical fiction, that could be a good one to read. So, okay, I'm going to set these down, grab a sip here, and then put this down. I caught a bit of my son Caleb's cold, and so I am drinking lots of hot things here and just trying to keep going. So let's talk questions. You guys had some great questions. Again, I will leave links to anything I mentioned in the comments below, and we're just going to get caught up today and answer some of the things you've been wondering about me. All right, we're going to start with Falling Leaf. Falling Leaf asked, how much is your grocery budget and for how many people? A lot of you know this, but it is $525 for 6 people. That is based on Northern Indiana where we live. I have been shopping on a budget very frugally for a long time. So yes, it feels pretty tight for some, I understand, but I have a stockpile and this is how we work. And that's the budget we are using. That does include food, toiletries, paper products, all of those things. You will not see me buy them every week, obviously, because I really do practice the buy ahead principle and stocking up on sales. Next question comes from Kyla, and she says, what are your family's favorite vegetables? Do you tend to do more frozen, fresh, or canned? And that's really a good one. We are working on vegetables with my kids. Caleb, my youngest, is not a huge vegetable person. That's always his first question at dinner lately is, what's the vegetable? Because we're making him try these different vegetables. Family's favorite, though, I would say is green beans, and we do prefer canned, out of the can from the store. I tried canning my own, and it was a lot of work, considering canned beans are really cheap at the store, and my family preferred them, like just that softer texture. I like frozen green beans, but we stick to canned. We do canned corn. I do tend to do fresh cauliflower is one of my favorites and go-tos. We do some raw carrots, and then we do some frozen or fresh broccoli. But I would say as a whole, most of our vegetables are canned. We do frozen mixed vegetables as well sometimes too. So a little bit of all of them, but a lot of them are canned, We do some frozen, and then the fresh would be like the cauliflower, the broccoli, Brussels sprouts, things that I find in when they're on sale and we eat them. So just a different variety of those. Good question. Next question comes from Angie, and she says, does your faith come into your meal planning? And I would say yes. As a Christian, my faith does influence everything I do. And in regards to meal planning, it would simply be that I try to be a good steward of all the blessings God has given me and stretch our budget and shop wisely and use that. So we do place an importance on eating together as a family. Our kids are young enough. The oldest, Nathan's getting ready to turn 11 here. He's the last one who hasn't had his birthday yet as of this filming. So they are not in a lot of activities where we are eating separately at this point. My husband, unfortunately, as a principal, does have a lot of evening meetings. So there are some nights we will be eating without him every week, but the kids and I always eat dinner together. And so I try to just focus on feeding my family well, on a budget, foods that we enjoy, but eat healthily too. And we're always working on improving those things, as you'll see in your grocery hauls. But yes, I would say basically my Christian faith does influence everything I do. And in regards to meal planning, it would be a matter of stewardship and just shopping wisely and planning, so we're not wasting things too. I don't want to throw things away, and that would be practical. I think for all of us, we don't want to throw our money away and waste it. Next one up was from @FamilyZoo. They asked, if you could only choose one item to stockpile for your pantry, what would it be and why? And then it was funny because someone said right away, butter. It would have to be butter. And somebody else commented in chocolate chips. And those both are really good things, but this was a tough question. At first I was going to say baking things because we bake a lot. But then I realized flour and sugar, those prices are pretty stable and they haven't gone up or increased a whole lot. Some things are perishable, like eggs, so I can't really stockpile those. Butter might be one of the top choices. Like it might be butter. And chocolate chips, I mean, yeah, I do love to bake. And those you can find sales on, so I want to stock it up. But I would have to say, if I could really only stockpile one thing, if I had to pick my top choice, it would actually probably be meat. Because I am really trying to be more intentional about that in feeding our family meat that I buy on a budget. So I don't typically go out and buy a ton of meat at once, but I am really working on shopping the sales, paying attention to markdowns. I do have a video coming soon. If it hasn't come up already, I just filmed one about stockpiling and filling my freezer on a budget, how I do it. But because that is the most expensive part of my budget, I do try to focus on those things that are more expensive because down the road, it will save me more money if I have meat stockpiled in our freezer. Now, butter would be a close second because that does go up quite a bit and we are using it regularly. I've been tracking again this year. We're going on almost 2 years of tracking butter, and I think it's still averaging about 5 or 6 pounds a month. I should really tally that up again. So those would probably be my top choices, but it's really hard to pick just one. I have a whole bunch of other videos about the top 10 things I think to stockpile. I'll leave a link to that below because, yeah, if I had to pick one, we'll go with meat. But good question. Very one. What would you stockpile if you could only stockpile one thing? It's hard to choose, isn't it? Especially when you know you need so many things for your family. So, all right, Natalie asks, what are your plans for lunches during summer break for your kids? Are they similar to what you pack for lunch for school? And do they ever complain about being sick of their lunches? Also, how do you handle snacking? I know snacks can get quite expensive during summer break. Very true. So we have 4 kids and they are 5, 7, 9, 11 for those of you who are new. Lunches during the summer, yes, they do tend to look pretty similar to what they have during the year, except they won't be doing applesauce cups. We'll be doing a lot more fresh fruit because they can cut it up there. But there will be sandwiches, there will be chips or sandwiches, crackers and cheese. Those tend to be standbys. I'll do mac and cheese like once a week maybe as a fun treat. My son Nathan's really into quesadillas. He'll make those. We will do leftovers. Like leftovers is always an option that they can have when we are home in the summer. So yes and no. They are at the age now where they are liking to prepare their lunch more. We do a lot of our homemade yogurt and granola, things that I couldn't send in the lunch because that's just hard to package. So kind of similar, but a little different. They have a little more freeway. Snacking, we'll see. I feel like we're just getting more to the snacking age. Like this is the first year I really remember where they come home from lunch and or from school and they are hungry and they want a snack. And a lot of times it's an apple I cut up, apple and peanut butter. If I've baked muffins, I'll have muffins or a slice of toast or a cheese stick, something like that. We try not to snack a ton. We do eat dinner pretty early, around 5. But yes, it would just be something that we have. We'll probably try to bake a little bit more, but I'll keep you posted. I don't really have a big plan on that. I try not to buy a lot of individually packaged snacks. I will buy those like if we are traveling, and those convenience things to have when we're on the road, which we do a lot of in the summer. So that would be more of when our snacking comes into place. But if we're at home, like I can easily slice up slices of cheese, and that would be cheaper than the packaged cheese strip or cheese sticks and things like that. But I don't know. If you have any good ideas on snacking, let me know. We will see how we do. We try not to do a lot of snacking. Again, we don't really snack in the mornings at all. They might have one snack in the afternoon, but they know they can go in the fridge and they can always, I will cut up an apple for them. If we have any fresh fruit, I try to encourage that as a snack as well too, or cheese and crackers is kind of always a standard one. So I don't know if that helps, Natalie, but those are my thoughts on that. And they do not really complain about their school lunches. They are kids of habit. They really like the same things. It's simple, and thankfully that works for me. So I'm very thankful for that. Nathan occasionally will buy a school lunch if it is nachos or breakfast for lunch. Every once in a while, I would say only once or twice a month. We have cooks at our school and they do an amazing job with the food, but my kids just like simple things. So I'm very thankful that they are okay to be creatures of habit, because that makes my life a lot easier when it comes to packing all the school lunches. Next one, last one up is Jordan, and she has quite a few. I can always count on Jordan for some good questions. So here we go. How does meal planning, budget, schedule, activities, etc. change in the summer? Well, the first thing is my husband's around a lot more, which is great. We all love that. He is a principal, but we love having him home. The school year is very busy for him as a former teacher. I mean, he's always been a teacher for 20 plus years. This is his second full year as principal. Yes, second full year as principal, coming up on the end. So we're used to having him home in the summer, and that's wonderful. We love the laid back schedule. Slower starts to our morning. We'll just spend time around the house playing. We do tend to travel in the summer quite a bit. I am one of 4 kids, and my siblings are all spread across. My parents are in Texas, but they are getting ready to move to Missouri this summer. They are starting to slowly retire. My dad is retiring from his church of Second Call as pastor. He's been there for 37 years, a long time. So they will be moving to Missouri, and that will be nice to have them closer. So we try to travel and see family. This summer we are actually going to spend some time with Andy's family, my husband's family, and we are getting a house in Branson for a bit. We're doing that. And then we travel and we take the kids different places. We do a lot of driving in the summer when we travel, because my husband growing up did not travel a lot. I did. My parents were one of 7 kids on each side, and family was really spread out, all in church work. So we would just drive around and see aunts and uncles and cousins and grandparents, and that was what we did. But Andy, they did not. Their family was all really close location-wise, and so they didn't have to travel far. And his dad was a union worker, so they didn't have that flexibility as much as we did. And so it's become very important to Andy, and his goal is to get all our kids to the 48 states at least by the time they leave for college. And we're doing really well. The kids are like all at 40 some, I think. We're going to do a little traveling over spring break. We will do some in the summer and check off those things. So that's great. June is kind of our month where we will settle into activities. It tends to be, we do maybe some swim lessons. There might be a basketball camp for Nathan. I will continue doing some work from home. So we have some reading structure in the mornings, a lot of just playtime. We really try to just play and be outside and do that in the summer and enjoy being home. So that's kind of a little bit of that. That also led into, you asked later, what are summer vacation plans? And that's a little bit of there too. Do we do a year-end or start of summer party for the kids? No, we're just very excited. We might go out to dinner as a family, go to Red Robin or something just to kind of kick off summer. But we're just thrilled it's here, and we will be counting down, and then we just embrace it once it comes on. We actually finished school this year before Memorial Day, which I don't think that has ever happened. So absolutely thrilled about that. Jordan also asked, what are your family's Easter traditions? How do you budget by baskets? She puts fillers, including flip-flops, swim towels, swimsuit. Fillers are stuff you have to buy anyway, plus chocolate bunny and a few treats. Easter traditions would be we go to the church right away because it's Easter and it's Jesus' resurrection. So we go to church, and then Andy's family is close, so we will have lunch with them. Yes, we do an Easter basket for the kids. Andy makes sure there's always a chocolate cross in there. It's actually kind of his thing, the baskets. Like I will find, like they do some treats, and yes, we've done like flip-flops before. They're just kind of small little things. Sometimes I think he's put in a kite or a little Lego set, like nothing extravagant, but we do hide their baskets. Like we don't hide the eggs. The grandparents will do an Easter egg hunt sometimes, but we hide their baskets. So after we come home from church, they get to look for their basket and they find their Easter basket, and that's just kind of our simple tradition. Not a whole lot, but that works for us. We will dye eggs, and like we'll do that. Well, eggs are so expensive this year. I guess I haven't thought about that. If we'll dye the eggs or not, maybe we'll just do a dozen. I don't know. That's kind of a pricey holiday. I saw a meme like about dyeing potatoes this year, and that made me laugh because we love potatoes, and a lot of times I had them. They're like, maybe you can paint potatoes instead of dyeing Easter eggs, and I was like, that does talk about prices. One more question from Jordan. She has to talk about kids' chore charts or work the kids help with. Now, this is something they're definitely working on. As a stay-at-home mom, like I do the laundry, I do the cooking and the dishes, and they are very good about helping me when I ask, but yes, we are trying to develop some more accountability. So the past couple months, we do have some kids' chore charts, and it varies. Like Caleb's are pretty simple as a 5-year-old's, getting dressed, making sure teeth are brushed, making beds is on all of them, practicing piano, practicing trumpet. There are different things, making sure hair is brushed for the girls. And then we have things like vacuuming, sweeping under the table, unloading the silverware, unloading the dishwasher, different chores like that, wiping down the bathroom sink, just different things that we are trying to divide up responsibility for, and that they are responsible for checking every day. And then yes, they do get a small allowance. We tend to pay more by the month is what it works out. It's just too much for me to keep track of every week. They are responsible for checking things off, and I'll remind them. But they are starting to get more in those habits as well of consistently doing those things. And then when we pay them their allowance, some goes to church. They do tithe 10% of it. They have the Dave Ramsey banks, which I love them. If you've never seen them, they are, in fact, let me go get you one. I got to show you this because it's really, I love these banks. Okay, so we invested in these banks for the kids a long time ago. I love them because they're clear and you can see inside. It has the slots on the top, and then you can get them out on the bottom, which that's the easiest way to do it, of course. So you have your save, which, well, we have the give for church, and then they have the spend, and then we have the save. And so you can see how it all works together. I mean, this is their whole allowance and their money, but it divides it up. And so I just really like this. So we have them do about 10% here, and then we encourage the other 40% to go into save. And some of this long term goes into their savings accounts that we have for them at the bank. Some of it they can use if they're saving up for a large purchase, but mostly they tend to use their spend that way, and the spend they just kind of let accumulate. We have been working more at that if they want something at the store, we're at the point we're not going to buy it for them. Like if they ask about something at the dollar store or something like that, like we will buy them things occasionally if we're going on trips, like we buy some surprises and things, but really we're trying to teach them this is your money, and if you want it, sure, go ahead, save up for it and you can buy that, because we want them to know that we are working hard to do things like our trips or saving for big house projects and different things, and just trying to teach them responsibility that way. So the chores are kind of a way to tie that in a little bit. And again, it's just part of being in a family. So some of the things, if I ask you to do this, I'll just expect you to do it because you're part of the family too, whether you're getting paid for it. And so we're trying to balance that out, and it's tricky. Like, I know you other moms out there, if you have any huge insights on that, it's a tricky challenge. So it's a work in progress, but I would say we are making progress at developing that responsibility and accountability. So those were the questions this month. Thanks for chiming in. Like I said, I'll try to do this every couple months. I'll leave a link to one of the other ones I've done. It has flown by. March has been a busy month. We had all of our birthdays, so we now have 5, 7, 9, and 11. And yes, it's been a busy month, but it was a good month. We are looking forward to spring break in April, and then the year just, it goes so quickly. We have Easter coming, and there is thunder coming today. Yikes. But it's been a good month. It has been flying by. It's been a very busy month, but I always enjoy being here and getting a chance to chat with you. So thanks so much for joining me. Let me know some of your favorites as well in the comments. I'd love to hear those or things that you're loving this month. And if you have any other questions, you can ask them now or hold on to them until next time, and I'll be sure to answer them and get to them then. Thanks for joining me today to chat. And if you missed the last Q&A, I'll go ahead and leave that link here so you can go ahead and check that one next. See you in the next video.